Ferrari is excitement.
At the beginning of the 2022 season, Ferrari looked like they were back where they belong, at the top. With one of the strongest driver pairings on the grid and finally a car that can compete for race wins, they almost seemed unstoppable. However, 16 races in, we're looking at a completely different picture. After starting the season with what pundits have said is the fastest car on the grid, how did Ferrari end up here? A 139-point mountain to climb in the Constructors, and a 116-point deficit between Leclerc and Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. Add to that the ever-increasing ascendancy of Mercedes and the allegedly illegal flaw that Ferrari and Red Bull were supposedly running going into the summer break. What else can go wrong? The Scuderia's year started with maximum points from Bahrain, and a surprise third and fourth place lucked into by Mercedes, with Red Bull starting the year with a double DNF. This
Max Verstappen's party. This is going to be his first podium in Monaco. It's his first win in Monaco. Max Verstappen. Hamilton come to Austria to see him win again. They came, they saw, he conquered. Max Verstappen wins the Austrian Grand Prix.
Max Verstappen has rallied his team to 11 victories, with the 12th coming in Monaco from Sergio Perez. Checo has delivered 38% of Red Bull's points so far, a figure that we will focus on later. They have resolved their apparent reliability issues troubling them at the start of the season, having bagged a podium finish in each race for 2022. Having dominated this year, the Hungarian Grand Prix provided frosting on a very well-layered cake, with a win from 10th on the grid for Verstappen. Checo grabbed a creditable 5th place from P11 as well. Ferrari, however, continue to display their ability to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, starting with a second-row lockout and failing to finish on the podium. They ended Hungary with Sainz 4th and Leclerc 6th, epitomising pretty much how the entire season had gone for the Scuderia. Having not won a Drivers' Championship since 2007 with Kimi Räikkönen, Ferrari have failed to capitalise on having multiple championship-winning drivers in their cars ever since.
Yeah, so thanks for everybody.
Nigel Mansell is almost home and dry in his first Grand Prix for Ferrari. A brilliant victory.
And I don't think they've made it.
Guys.
They've not made it. Ferrari have done it.
What a mess.
Such disappointments are emblematic of systemic failure. Could a personnel failure exist? Could Ferrari fall prey to believing too much in its own culture, in its own brand? Sergio Marchionne was made CEO of Fiat in 2004. 10 years later, he became chairman of Ferrari. The Wolf of Maranello wasted no time in making big changes. Marchionne, known for his unconventional management style, squashed Ferrari's vertical management structure flat, so he could grease the F1 team's decision-making process. One really high-profile casualty of that initial firing spree was chairman Luca Montezemolo. With him went Fernando Alonso's excuse for non-performance. Off he went. Team principal Marco Mariachi, the last Montezemolo hire, didn't survive 2014 professionally. He was gone by November, 7 months after he got the job. Firmly against top-heavy management, Marchionne looked for a new breed of technical director. He wanted someone who wasn't jaded from his years of experience in the F1 circus. Fresh eyes was his solution to the Scuderia's endemic problems. What the new recruit had to have was discipline, leadership, and passion. Ascending as team director after the purge was Maurizio Arrivabene. Marchionne probably felt that the ship could be steadied by the former Philip Morris manager. Also coming to the F1 team at the time were two Ferrari employees, Ignacio Rueda and Mattia Binotto. Rueda as an F1 strategist came on board in 2014, and Binotto as chief technical officer arrived in 2016. Crucially, Binotto had been, at the time, a Ferrari employee for 21 years. Almost immediately, the sparks began to fly. Time after time, there were clashes between Arrivabene and Binotto concerning direction, race strategy, and internal politics. Berizzo was always going to be at a disadvantage with Binotto. While Arrivabene had seniority in terms of age and position, Binotto knew the team like the back of his hand. Marchionni died suddenly in 2018. Arrivabene leaves Ferrari at the end of that season. Like a victorious Rocky over Apollo Creed, Binotto takes the championship belt and assumes the coveted post of technical director. Meanwhile, Rueda is in a position where even race wins were being questioned and technically torn apart by pundits. Also, victories were coming further and further apart. There were times when a year had passed without a victory for the Tifosi. A lot of this is due to the overall direction of the team, but there have been some instances of moronic race strategy as well. Raikkonen leaves Ferrari at the end of 2018. In comes budding superstar Charles Leclerc for 2019. Ferrari had a 4-time champion in one car and one who is arguably the world's most anticipated rookie in the other. Leclerc began to outperform Vettel. Seb left for Aston Martin, and Carlos Sainz was confirmed for 2021. Youth with talent and experience occupies both cockpits. Ferrari is running out of excuses. There has always been a group of people at Ferrari F1 that are made men, in for life, protected. Binotto seems to be one of them. He earned his place through experience and has delivered. He is a mechanical engineer and has designed better power units during his years as CTO.
Sebastian Vettel being wheeled into the garage. Charles Leclerc is wheeled back into the garage. Oh no, Charles Leclerc has gone straight on.
Both Ferraris trying to fight over the same piece of tarmac.
Kimi Raikkonen on the inside, and he's crashed. Vettel going backwards. He is on. Ricardo, and that's Charles Leclerc. Utter disaster for Ferrari at the start of this race.
This year's Power Unit 2 has Mr. Binotto's fingerprints all over it, seemingly having an Achilles heel. It can be argued that it's experiencing catastrophic detonation when high-power engine maps are called for. Both drivers are on the back foot, even after negotiating the need to run 4 power units this year. Every other team this year has made do with 3. By Austria, Leclerc was on his 4th unit, and Sainz took his 4th PU after his car exploded spectacularly in Azerbaijan. With the engine freeze in full effect for 2022, Ferrari grid penalties will be standard fare for the rest of the season. Then there is this issue of the legality of the flaw. Red Bull could be running 2 differently flawed cars in recent races. This coincides with the sudden drop of form from Red Bull's second car. Red Bull has enough of a points cushion to run practice sessions during races. Ferrari doesn't have this luxury. Given the amount of data Mercedes had to generate to make progress, points to secure the championships might be a very, very scarce commodity for the rest of the season. What has Rueda done to deserve his tenure? Why is Binotto saying to the press that nothing needs to change? Why is he always defending Rueda? The mental picture of old men sitting in smoke-filled rooms, patting themselves on the back, looking for worlds to conquer, and congratulating themselves on past conquests may be stereotypical, but it fits here. Ferrari can keep the room, but it needs to get rid of a few chairs and open a window. Ferrari has, from the first time they turned a wheel in F1, been known for erratic decision-making in terms of race strategy, an aspect that plagues all Formula One teams from time to time, but what transpired in Monaco and Hungary this year proves they have that failing down to a science. Their drivers have been right just as many times as the strategist has, if not more. Meanwhile, Mercedes is in its ascendancy. Of the three top teams in terms of average positions won, Ferrari has an average of 7.4, Red Bull 5.5, and Mercedes 5. Of the three pilot pairings, the trailing driver Checo has brought in 38% of the points earned, Sainz 47%, and Hamilton 45%. Statistically, Ferrari might have a more equally matched driver pairing. However, factoring in the near 200 points lost to reliability and strategy, that advantage is wasted. Rueda is the head of the strategy think tank. The buck stops with him. If the Binotto-Rueda axis remains and nothing changes, then the chances for the Constructors and Drivers' Championships are exceedingly remote at best. It is almost a certainty that they will lose the second place they now hold to Mercedes. An F1 season is always highly unpredictable, but it seems like déjà vu when it comes to Ferrari. Where do you think the Tifosi will finish this season? Can they recover in the second half of the season? Their main title competitors Red Bull seem to be a well-oiled machine these days, but it wasn't always that way. Click here to check out how Red Bull began racing in Formula One. And thank you for watching.